Welcome to Lunch Break Sports. All right, I'm here for the final Lunch Break Sports episode of the year with my friend Michael Kreyman.
Hello, guys.
And yeah, the Knicks did win the championship. I'm over the moon ecstatic. It is genuinely amazing. I just kind of want to talk about that run a little bit. In the first round, we had to go against the Hawks, and they took the most games out of anybody the Knicks played. Everyone else combined, even.
Yeah.
CJ McCollum for like a hot minute was Nick's biggest, enemy after hitting Brunson in that spot and hitting those game-winning shots. And we were losing in that series. And that's just crazy to think about now that we were actually losing in that series to the Hawks after such a dominant run.
When you go to you guys, swept the Cavs?
We swept the Sixers, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Everybody hates Embiid, who lives in New York and roots for the Knicks. Come on, the guy tried to rip Mitchell Robinson's ankle off a few years ago. But we were able to sweep them, and then surprisingly, we also swept the Cavs, including that
Which is
crazy 22-point comeback.
Donovan Mitchell, he's actually like a top 3 shooting guard in the NBA, I think, definitely. So to sweep him, it's actually very, hard to do.
I think people are heavily discrediting the legitimacy of the East because while maybe the East wasn't as good as the West, sure, but we still were a good team. We didn't win because the rest of the East sucked. We won because we were a great team.
Yeah.
And of course the finals matchup, Knicks versus Spurs. That was the matchup I was hoping for against OKC because I thought the fouls would be more fair. The fouls were the calls were outrageous, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah.
There's really no excusing what went on in that game. So many calls. Remember when Victor Wembanyama pushed Brunson to the floor? They didn't call it.
Choked him also.
Yep. Just so many plays where Wemby would stick his foot out where Brunson was landing, and they wouldn't call it, and we would do the same thing.
And also the game in the finals where it should have been an and-one when Wemby stuck out his foot and didn't let Brunson land, and the refs never called a foul.
Yeah, I just didn't.
Also, I think what played part in it is that the NBA is an organization, which we need to remember, and that they're not going to suspend Wemby or give. It would just change the whole entire finals perspective if Wemby wasn't playing, and people wouldn't really watch the finals. So, from a marketing standpoint, they couldn't. There's no way they could have given Wemby a suspension.
For sure.
No way.
He obviously deserved a suspension, if we're being completely honest.
He definitely did.
The NBA is a business at the end of the day, and honestly, the fans. I know some people were saying "Oh, just get Wemby out," but to be honest, the championship really wouldn't have felt like a championship should feel like if we weren't able to play against Wemby. It's from a fan standpoint, I thought he should just play anyway. Even though they should have called fouls, but they should have been leaning on the flagrants. I think if he fouls out, people can respect that as legitimate. You know what I mean? Like if Wemby fouls out, he fouls out. But if he gets suspended, then that's a whole different story, and they can discredit the championship. But I don't think people really can discredit this championship so much because it was just an amazing run, super dominant, one of the craziest runs in NBA history.
The craziest games was probably when Brunson, the finals game, but also when they came back 30. The Spurs, I think, set a franchise record in the NBA for most threes made in a half, which was insane.
Yeah,
and they were up by 30, and the Knicks came back with an OG tip in. I think that was insane.
What I say about this game is that this game really showed the world who the Knicks are as a team because maybe some people don't watch basketball as much as I do and we're only watching the finals, but this is a team that is built for 20-point comebacks, even 30-point comebacks, because last year we did it twice against the Celtics. This year we did it against the Cavs and ended up sweeping, and this year we did it against the Spurs in Game 4. Just an incredible run.
And also in the final game, where Brunson had 45 and the team, I think, had 49. That's insane.
If you just look at it, the Knicks made so many comebacks. The Spurs had a double-digit lead in every single first quarter of that series. That's insane. Okay, but the Knicks, they're just such a great. It's not really just Brunson that does everything because if you look at Brunson's stats, he wasn't that efficient the whole playoffs. It's this whole team that works together as a unit and gets it done. Okay, Landry Shamet, he went 11 for 12 from 3 in the Eastern Conference Finals. Then he cooled off in the finals, but we didn't need him. All these guys pitched in. Mikhail got a 20-point game. Josh Hart got 15 rebounds in the game. Okay, OG Anunoby gets that tip in. Cat dominated Wemby for games 1 and 2. Brunson took over in games 3 and 4. Mitchell Robinson got that huge rebound. Jose Alvarado was huge in the finals and that comeback. This whole team just works together and meshes so well, and it's really going to be. I think people are going to forget how well this bench worked with the starters. You could really put anyone in there in the lineups. We had Sohan in guarding Wemby, and it worked. That's crazy. Next, I kind of want to discuss the key finals players grades. I mean, everybody loves to talk about Brunson. I think he gets an A plus. He did get the
Yeah.
MVP. I want to talk a little bit about Victor Wembanyama. If we had to give him a letter grade for how he played in the series, what would you give him? Because if we're being honest, I mean, he was pretty dominant, but he didn't really
I think
finish anything. He kind of choked in the last minutes. He really ruined his reputation a little bit with the I'm in your head and missing his free
Yeah.
throws and saying everyone expects we're gonna win and then just losing the series.
Honestly, I feel like we should give him a fair. I think he deserves a B plus because even if there's things which he did, he still put up like 30-point games, and he's still just like 20, 22, 23, like still very very young. So I think we can't really like give them such a bad grade because he's very young, and I think Wemby will at least win 1 to 2 championships in his career.
I just think that if I were Victor Wembanyama, I would have played the series so much differently. I mean, this guy is taking way too many threes. They literally cannot stop him in the paint.
Yeah.
He's physically impossible to stop. And yeah, he makes a few threes, like he's a decent 3-point shooter, but you shouldn't be relying on that when you're that size and that
Yeah.
dominance, okay? And I think he played well. I mean, B plus I think is fair. I may give him like a
Yeah.
B or B minus, but coming into the series, how I thought he was going to perform,
Yeah,
how I thought he was
same.
going to make issues, like he really needs to lock in. And I think he's got a great future, but he really has to stop the dirty plays, like the play we tried to stomp OG
Yeah,
Anunoby's
yeah.
leg into the floor. He's got to stop playing dirty. He's got to start playing right, playing like a center. And I think he's going to be one of the hardest players to stop in the league if he can just do those two simple things.
I agree.
Next, I want to bring up De'Aaron Fox because a lot of people are talking about how bad he was in this series, okay? And I just want to highlight one key thing that people are maybe forgetting a little bit. It's not like De'Aaron Fox was doing amazing in the rest of the playoffs either. It's not like he just stepped up to the finals and choked. We were talking on this podcast, the last episode, about how De'Aaron Fox has been underperforming, and it's really concerning for the Spurs because they just signed him to a massive extension, and it seems like he's really underperforming in his role. I would be really worried if I were a Spurs fan. I would give De'Aaron Fox, I would give him a C. I would give him a C because while people would love to say, oh, he sold that 29-point comeback game, like, it's not a missed layup that sells the game. It's the fact that they were able to get back in after being down 29.
I honestly am giving him an F.
Wow, okay.
From going to a point guard that averaged 25 points per game on the Kings to averaging less than 10 points in the whole entire playoffs, and to Dylan Harper averaging more points than you coming off the bench, and seeing Dylan Harper not start over you is kind of crazy to me. I just yeah, that's why I've nothing, like he did nothing in the finals, literally. He made that clutch shot, I remember, to seal the game in game 3. Yeah. But that was really the only thing he did.
Okay, so the next player I want to bring up is Mikal Bridges, okay? And people love to say, oh, the 5 first was
Yeah.
not worth it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think to some extent that's true. Do I think we could have got him for less? I don't think so because it's two New York teams, but I think it may have been a little bit of an overpay. However, those pick swaps are not getting pick swapped because we just won the championship. All of those firsts are basically really early second-round picks. Like, it's not like after we won that championship, I think the picks became less relevant. And I want to give Mikal Bridges an A- for this series. I know this may sound crazy because I know some games he lacked efficiency. But when we traded for Mikal Bridges, we weren't expecting him to be our best player. We weren't expecting him to be our second best player, and we weren't expecting him to be our third best player. Okay, maybe third best player because we didn't have Cat yet. But on this team, we need him to be that fourth option that can do 3 things, okay? Number 1, we need him to be able to score when it matters, okay? We need him to be able to, even if he's not consistent, we need him to be able to drop a 20-point game in the finals, which he did, okay? Number 2, we need him to play great defense, which he has done and will continue to do. I mean, against Jason Tatum last year in the series against the Celtics. This year, he's been playing great defense, okay? He's also been automatic from mid-range for a good amount of time, which is just a bonus. But the third thing he needs to do is he needs to just take control of the lineup when Brunson and Cat are out, because throughout the season, we've seen that the statistics with both Brunson and Cat off of the floor is terrible. Okay, and coming into one of these games, I think it may have been against the Cavs in the Cavs series, okay? He came into the game, and there was no Brunson, no Cat, and we were only up like a few points, and he just completely held down the fort. He took over the game. He was a leader, okay? We need him to be a leader when our leaders are not on the court, okay? And the chemistry with him, I think he just had an amazing series just for what he was trying to do. Because if we're talking, oh, is he a great number 1 option? No. Okay, he was the number one option for the Nets, but he's not really the number one option on this team. He's not supposed to be. He's supposed to play his role. He doesn't need to take so many shots if other people are taking good shots too, and that's why I think he deserves an A minus for this year, just because of the impact he had and the fact that we can rely on him.
I would honestly give him I would give him a B plus because a lot of people, talk bad about him. But again, like you said, he wasn't made to come here and lead the team. He does his role, which is very needed in the NBA, which is playing defense, which I think is very good for him. And he gives you points when it's needed. I mean, he did have 20-point games, but the other ones weren't that great. But again, he's not there to score. He's there to, play defense and do his role. That's why I think he's a B plus.
And I want to say this one more time. I think people are heavily overvaluing the picks. I mean, we won a championship with him, and he was a key player. It's always worth it to get a championship.
Yeah.
And in the words of Josh Hart, F them picks. All right, last we're going to talk about Dylan Harper. Okay, now Dylan Harper was amazing this year. I'm going to give Dylan Harper an A+.
Same.
Not even kidding. He came off the bench. He was genuinely unstoppable.
Yeah.
He was more of a threat offensively, honestly, than Wemby was. I mean, I know that's crazy, but Wemby, you could just leave him open and he would miss a three, but Dylan Harper would take it right to the paint and score. Yeah. Some of those buckets he had were unbelievable. And I think if Wemby had the determination of Dylan Harper, he would be the best player in the league.
I think him and Cooper Flagg in this draft class are levels ahead of all the other ones in the draft class, and I think they will be Hall of Famers, both of them. Dylan Harper's dad is Ron Harper, and he, I think, is a Hall of Famer, and he played with MJ, so I don't know, Dylan Harper, I also give him an A+, and he's just been a really great player in this series.
I mean, the Nets really got screwed, to be honest, with the draft order. They were projected to get Dylan Harper, and they didn't get him. I think if he went to the Nets, he would have been an amazing player and easily have been Rookie of the Year. I mean, he's such a talented player for the Spurs, and I think they were really lucky to be able to draft him. Fun fact, I actually met him a while ago with Ace
cool.
Bailey was there too. Yeah, it was really cool.
Rutgers?
Yeah, Rutgers meetup. The final player we have is Karl Anthony Towns. Okay, Karl Anthony Towns is one of the best players on the Knicks. I'm going to give him an A for this series because, again, he's our number 2 option. And the fact that he was really able to just bully Wembanyama in those first 2 games in San Antonio and just dominate gives him an A in my mind. He didn't deserve the A+ because he kind of cooled off in the latter games, but those 2 games against San Antonio in San Antonio were crucial for this series, okay, because we completely demoralized them. They got game 3, but then we got game 4 after a 29-point comeback, and from there they were toast. Okay, if we split in San Antonio, I'm not even sure if this goes to 6. I think it goes to 7. Okay, so I think that those 2 games were so important, and the fact that Karl Anthony Towns had such an incredible impact on those games really inclines me to give him an A. Also, I have to mention the fact that some of the foul calls, the foul trouble he got in, isn't really in his control, and it massively impacted his performances later in the series. So I just want to mention that, but I do think he deserves an A. What do you think, Michael?
So I just checked his averages on all of the games. I think he's still I would give him an A also. Like you said, he's not the number 1 option. He's there to be a center. He played pretty good defense, him and Mitchell Robinson against Wemby. And yeah, I think they have no flaws. So
and lastly, we're going to talk about the future of both of these teams. Now, the future of the Knicks is pretty set in stone. I mean, we have Brunson, Cat, OG, McHale, Hart all locked down, but there's a lot of good bench players that are free agents. Mm-hmm. And Mitchell Robinson and Landry Shamet are 2 very important ones because Mitchell Robinson is great defense. He's so crucial for our defense. And Landry Shamet is so crucial for our offense. I mean, he was electric in that Cavs series. I'll never forget that performance. There's heavy rumors that they're going to re-sign both of them. I don't know why they wouldn't re-sign both of them. They're both great pieces, and they probably aren't going to cost too much, so I think that's pretty much set in stone. Where it gets interesting is when it comes to Jordan Clarkson and Jose Alvarado. Now, I do think they're going to sign Jose Alvarado. I don't know why he wouldn't resign. Maybe he can get a bigger role somewhere else. But
he's not.
I strongly think that Jose Alvarado is
I don't know about Jordan Clarkson.
Jordan Clarkson's interesting because we only signed him to a 1-year contract. Mm-hmm. He's obviously a veteran. He's been in the league for a while. He could just step back and retire, but I still think he's a great player for this team. And I think if he wanted to go in for 1 more year for another league minimum contract and try and run it back, I think I would support that move as well. Huck Porty is a restricted free agent. I think we should just re-sign him as well. And, I mean, these guys aren't going to cost too much money. Yeah. And I think this team is just so well built.
The Knicks have it, all set in stone, basically. like their lineup and everything, except like these players that you listed that are on the bench. But yeah,
What really concerns me is the Spurs' future because, I mean, what are you gonna do with De'Aaron Fox? Are you really going to keep him for this huge, mega, super extension? Like it hasn't even kicked in yet. It's like
I
what,
don't.
$450 million? Can you trade him for
Yeah,
anything? Can you get that off of your
I
cap, or
don't.
are you just gonna stick with him and trust him?
I think you stick with him because his like his market value right now is like tanked like really really badly because he's been playing terrible in San Antonio. So yeah, I think you just stay with him, and if he does better, then trade him because Dylan Harper, as we saw in the series, is set in stone to be their next franchise point guard.
Okay, well that is going to conclude our discussion of the finals. But I just want to end the episode with one final statement. This podcast or this whole year has been just an incredible journey for me
Mm-hmm.
and Michael and Reed, who's not able to be here right now. But it's just been such a great journey for us.
Yeah,
It's really been
100%.
amazing to talk sports. I want to thank Miss Sergi for just helping everything set into place. I know the
Yeah.
development stage was really hard. You remember that meeting that we
Mm-hmm.
had where nobody was really listening, but
Yeah.
we were able to get our stuff together and put this together. I'm really thankful for Mr. Rule for really being just like the key helper with me in all of this, all of the details, all of the different podcast installments, the different sites, just helping me with every single thing I could ask for. I'm really appreciative for him. I want to thank Mr. Kozar for being our official advisor and being
Yep.
able to look at our scripts and confirm that this is appropriate for the school and that we can represent Goldock Academy.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to thank Mr. Hughesman for letting us pursue this podcast. I mean, it's been a great
Yeah.
journey, and we really couldn't have done it without him. I want to thank Theo, who really helped me teach me how to use all of the podcasting equipment because honestly, he's a tech genius and he's the only person in the school who really knows how to do everything. I call him when I need tech support. He's always there to support me. I really
Mm-hmm.
appreciate everything he's done for us. I want to thank Ed for helping with our short form content that we're
Yeah.
hoping to drop next year. That's going to be a really fun journey. I want to thank my co-hosts Reed and Michael for being with me throughout
Thank
this
you,
whole
Joey.
journey. You guys have been great, consistently thinking about everything, and you really have been committed to this podcast
Mm-hmm.
as much as I have. And I just want to thank everybody else who's been on the podcast. We have Kenneth, Mr. Heffetz, Mr. Stern, Naomi, Noah, Leo, Mia, Remy, Levi, Zach, Eloise, Tara, Caleb, Rebecca, Abby, Jude, Seth, Polly, Bryson, and Ben. You guys have all been amazing guests. I really appreciate everything you've done for the podcast. And lastly, I want to thank the audience, for listening to our podcast, listening
Thank you,
to me
guys.
and my friends talk sports during lunch. It's just been an amazing journey. I can't wait to pick it up next year. And yeah, thank you to everybody who's helped me with this journey.
Mhm.
It's been amazing. All right. See you next year.